I've seen lots of YouTube videos where people talk about their experience quitting Instagram or some other social media app for a month, 6 months, a year, but I haven't seen many videos on the longer term outcomes of taking a social media break. So I wanted to share my experience. For me, at least, there was a pretty big difference between being clean from Instagram for 1 year versus 5 years. At the 1 year mark, I still had a bit of FOMO. I still thought about the app occasionally, and I didn't have the greatest self-esteem. Today, I'm a lot more confident in myself than I was 4 or even 3 years ago. I almost never think about Instagram now, and maybe that's why there aren't many longer term videos. After 3, 4, 5 years away from an app, it starts to become kind of irrelevant. You're not thinking about it as much, so you're not posting videos about it. One other thing I've noticed about some of the existing social media detox videos I've seen is that the supposed outcome of doing a detox is usually unequivocally positive. The thing about YouTube is that it's really easy and tempting to post a success story. It's really easy to just say, I quit Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter 6 months ago. Now my life is perfect, my relationships are amazing, and I have no insecurities. My experience quitting Instagram was not at all like that. I think overall quitting Instagram has been really positive, but there have been a few unintended, less than positive consequences, and I want to be really honest about that in this video. I'm going to start with these unintended consequences and then go into the reasons quitting Instagram was overall a really good decision for me. When I quit Instagram, I was hyper-focused on one goal I had set for myself. I wanted to delete the app from my phone once and for all and not re-download it. When I set this goal, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about why I wanted to quit or what I specifically disliked about the app. All I knew was that I was using it too frequently and it was making me feel like crap about myself. What I didn't think about were the needs that Instagram was fulfilling for me and the reason I felt so dependent. Looking back, I think Instagram was fulfilling 3 different needs for me. First, I think the app was fulfilling a craving I had for external validation. Second, it was somewhat satisfying my desire to fit in and feel connection. And third, Instagram was giving me constant visual stimulation and distraction. I think the first 2, the desire for external validation and fit in, are natural and normal things to want as a human being. It sounds weird to say I crave external validation, but if you had no external validation in your life, your mental health probably wouldn't be great. When I cut out Instagram, I used other methods to fulfill these 3 desires. Now, I wasn't going about my day thinking I need to fulfill my daily craving for external validation. I think this was all pretty subconscious. After I quit, I had a little bit more free time and I wanted to use it socializing somehow. So I found myself drawn to things like on-campus clubs and dating apps. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this one. I'm editing right now, by the way, if you couldn't tell, I just got off of work. Overall, I like dating apps, especially as an introvert. I think the pros and potential upside of meeting someone great outweigh the cons. Dating apps are a really convenient way to meet people who don't necessarily run in your circles, who have a different outlook on life and different life experiences. That said, it's really easy to abuse dating apps and to get caught up in the gamification of dating. When I first left Instagram, I definitely abused dating apps. I was really only there to see who would like me back. I didn't spend a lot of time messaging people or meeting up with people, even though I was looking for a relationship. I was too caught up in the swiping and the little bit of power I had to pass appearance-based judgments on other people. I was also so caught up in the idea of exploring the seemingly endless options out there that I never really spent time pursuing the people that I already knew were interested in me, at least not in the first 2 years after leaving Instagram. I wish that instead I had thought a little bit more about why I was trying to quit Instagram, why I felt like I needed external validation instead of just subjecting myself to other unhealthy coping strategies. I wish I had thought a little bit more about why I didn't feel connected in my existing relationships. Was it because I didn't have enough self-confidence, or was it because I didn't feel super supported by my friends? Honestly, probably a little bit of both. The other less than healthy way I was dealing with, I guess you could call it withdrawal from quitting Instagram, was that I was spending a lot more time watching Netflix and YouTube videos. Looking back, it's pretty obvious to me that that was my way of giving my brain the passive visual stimulation that I was previously getting from Instagram. With Netflix and YouTube, I eventually got to a place very similar to the place I was at with Instagram, where I started to feel way too dependent. So I started to cut down my usage. I never cut out those apps completely, and I don't plan on cutting them out because I feel like I get enough benefit out of those apps when I use them in moderation. For me, they're just not as addicting as Instagram. That said, different people have different reactions to different apps. Some people may be extremely addicted to Netflix, but they're able to use Instagram in a way that doesn't really damage their self-esteem. I also want to point out that every app kind of has its own evil specialty. Instagram is probably the worst app for self-confidence. You're not going to find another app out there that makes you feel worse about yourself. We can make similar statements about other apps. TikTok ruins your attention span. Twitter makes you angry. Facebook makes you lonely. Netflix and YouTube make you lazier. So even though I felt like initially after quitting Instagram, I may have been using other apps to replace Instagram, I felt like I wasn't as dependent on those other apps, and there really is no other app out there that is going to make you feel worse about your self-esteem than Instagram. And so I think my self-esteem is the biggest thing that improved after I left the app. While I was using Instagram, I genuinely hated my body and the way I looked. I was constantly trying to lose weight. At the height of my Instagram career, I was probably at my lowest weight at my current height. Today, I am so much happier with the way I look. I don't wear makeup anymore. I feel at home in my own skin. I am really proud and grateful to have the body that I do. And funny enough, I'm probably at my heaviest weight that I've ever been in my entire life right now, and I don't have any intentions of trying to lose weight. I will say that quitting Instagram was not the sole reason my body image has improved so much over the last 5 years. There are a lot of conscious lifestyle changes that I've made, although I have no doubt that quitting Instagram contributed to the body confidence that I have now. When I was using Instagram regularly, I was in Southern California, and most of the people I followed were my classmates. Being in Southern California, people go to the beach a lot, so I was subjecting myself to my peers' edited bikini photos pretty much 12 months out of the year. It's really tough to see that imagery and not hate yourself when you don't see yourself reflected in those photos. And how can you see yourself reflected in those photos that are all so highly edited? After quitting Instagram, I also felt like I gained a lot more confidence in my friendships. Instagram can definitely give you a false sense of acceptance. I remember using likes as almost a proxy for who my friends were, where in reality, I was really only liking other people's posts in the hopes that they would like my posts back. I had classmates who liked all of my posts, I liked all of theirs, but we wouldn't make eye contact when we saw each other at school. Now that I don't use the app, I feel like I really know who my actual friends are, and I'm not constantly second guessing myself in my relationships. Another huge benefit I've noticed since leaving Instagram is how I've been living in the moment more. This is something that I don't really think took full effect until 1 or 2 years ago. While I was using Instagram and during the first few years after I left the app, I constantly had my phone out ready to take photos of whatever I was doing, whether it was eating out, spending time with friends, or even just studying. I'd try to get artsy photos with my textbook open and a mug of tea with a sunny window in the background. In the last year or two, there have been so many photo opportunities I've missed because I was in the moment and it didn't even occur to me to have my phone out. And I'm really not mad about it. I think a lot of times having a camera out kind of ruins the moment and it takes away from what's happening. I'll give you kind of a funny example. In high school, I was using Instagram a lot. And during my senior year, I went to prom with someone my friend set me up with. I barely knew this person. Prom was, I guess, our first and last date because we never saw each other again after prom. Yet I probably have more photos with my prom date than I do with the person I'm dating now, who I've been dating for over a year. And I really wouldn't want it any other way. If I was trying to document every second of my relationship, then I wouldn't be spending as much time appreciating it in the moment. So this has been kind of a long video. In summary, quitting Instagram had really positive outcomes for me overall, but if you're planning on quitting any apps, I would recommend thinking hard about why you're doing it and how you want to handle any potential withdrawal symptoms so that quitting a particular app doesn't derail your life in other ways, if that makes sense. That has been this video. See you in the next one.